4 years ago, I lost my brother, and the pain of that loss is something that I carry every day. And as what would be his 37th birthday approaches, I find myself reflecting on a story in the Bible that has brought me both comfort and challenge. And this is the story of Lazarus, Mary, and Martha. Their journey of grief, despair, and ultimately hope is one that resonates deeply with me. And if you are carrying grief or you're carrying loss today, I believe that this story holds something for you too. So let's walk through it together. So Lazarus, along with his sisters Mary and Martha, lived in Bethany. They weren't just acquaintances of Jesus, they were his friends. Their home was a place of rest and of hospitality for Jesus during his ministry. One day, Lazarus fell ill, and his sisters, knowing what Jesus was capable of, sent word to him, hoping for a miracle. They had seen him heal others, so why wouldn't he just come quickly for someone that he loved? But Jesus delayed his arrival, and their hope turned into heartbreak as the condition of their brother Lazarus worsened, and eventually he died. And when Jesus finally arrived, 2 days late, Martha ran to meet him and said, "Lord, if you had been here, my brother would not have died." And grief overtook their home, and it felt impossible to see his promise or any promise at all, even while Jesus, the Christ, was standing right in front of them. But even in her sorrow, Martha confided in Jesus. Mary, overcome with grief, fell at his feet. And then something unexpected happened. Jesus wept. He wept with them, even knowing that he was about to perform a miracle. And then he asked them to roll away the stone from Lazarus' tomb. Despite Martha's protests about the odor, Lazarus had been dead for 4 days. Jesus reminded her of God's glory. He called out, "Lazarus, come out." He walked out of the tomb alive. Grief turned into wonder, mourning into faith, and those who witnessed it experienced the power and the glory of God firsthand. And so when I think about the story with Mary and Martha, I think about my own story and my own pain and my own desperation for hope, and it's all so familiar. But here's where my story differs. My brother's story, it didn't end like Lazarus. 4 years ago, my brother took his own life. He died alone. He died questioning where Jesus was, whether this God we speak of is truly a God of love, of compassion, of goodness. And for 4 years, I've wrestled with that. Why didn't Jesus show up the way that I prayed for? Why didn't the healing come in time? But here is what I come to understand. The miracles in the Bible, they aren't just about the physical healing or resurrection. They are about showing us the eternal story of who Jesus is. The Savior, the Redeemer, the one who brings hope even in the darkest moments. And while my brother's story ended differently here on earth, I hold on to the promise that his healing has come in eternity. Jesus' word does not return void. His promises remain true, even when we can't see them in the natural. So what do we do when grief consumes us? When we're watching others experience healing and restoration and wondering, where is my miracle? We've got to remember that we are eternal beings having a human experience. Our lives are a vapor, a moment in the grand story of eternity. And when we step outside of our timeline and we see through God's perspective, we realize that his promises, they are never broken. Jesus tells us in John 11:25-26, "I am the resurrection and the life. The one who believes in me will live, even though they die. And whoever lives by believing in me will never die." This is the hope that we hold on to, that in eternity, death is powerless, suffering is temporary, and restoration is complete. My brother, your loved ones, everyone who has placed their faith in Jesus has found eternal healing, and the pain of this world no longer binds them. In their grief, Mary and Martha did something extraordinary. They confided in Jesus. They brought their pain, their heartbreak, and their questions to him. Mary fell at his feet. Martha, even in her doubt, she trusted his promise. And that is what we're called to do. When the weight of the grief, it feels unbearable, when life's troubles don't pause to accommodate your pain, Jesus invites us to lay it all at his feet. If there's even a vapor of hope, it's worth holding on to, because Jesus does not offer temporary comfort. He offers life and hope and restoration that transcends the pain of this world. As the story of Lazarus ends, we see hope fully restored. Death loses its power. And while we may not all experience physical miracles like Lazarus, the miracle of Jesus' life and his death and his resurrection offers us the ultimate hope. So if you are grieving today, if you are in the middle of a desperate time, remember this. Walking with Jesus is worth every pain we endure. His life, it brings light to our darkest moments, and his hope never fails. Your story, like mine, may not unfold the way that we planned, but in Jesus, we find the strength to keep walking, the peace to keep trusting, and the hope to keep believing. He is with you in the sorrow, and in the waiting, and in the restoration that is to come. And if you're watching this and you feel like the darkness of this world has overtaken you, and if you're wondering how you'll make it through another day, let me speak directly to your heart. You are not alone. The same Jesus who wept with Mary and Martha, he sees your tears. The same Jesus who called Lazarus out of the tomb is calling you to life right now. In John 15, we're told that the light shines in the darkness and the darkness has not overcome it. No matter how deep the shadows feel, his light is stronger. You may not see the way forward, but Jesus is walking with you step by step. His promises in Isaiah 41 verse 10 say, "Do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand." And right now, in this moment, his hand is reaching out to you. Take it. Invite him into your life. Hold on to it, because there is light and hope, and there is life in him. And if this message resonated with you, I would love if you would share it with someone that needs to hear encouragement today. And let me know in the comments how Jesus has met you in your moments of grief. I would love to pray with you and walk this journey of hope together. And until next time, let's love more, let's trust deeper, and cling to the eternal hope that we have in Jesus. And I'll see you at the next PSA. What an incredible thing that Jesus can take our sorrow and turn it into joy. If this message helped you, share it with the first person that comes to mind. We have an entire playlist that we created just for you and those around you. Definitely give it a listen, and we'll see you in the next one.